What's up, guys? Welcome back to It's Me Tinx Live, exclusively on Radio Andy, Channel 102. Happy Monday. How are we all doing? We're back in New York, or Seattle, as the weather would like us to call it. I know it's boring to... By the way, I want to say something. Everyone always says, oh, it's so boring to talk about the weather. Why? It affects all of our moods so greatly. And if you live in New York, then you know that it has been raining obsessively since November. I read, which I don't know if it's true, that it hasn't not rained on a weekend since November, which it feels like it's true.
I saw that too. I think it was like 7 weekends in a row or something.
So nuts. It's insane. Hi guys, what's going on? Happy Monday. The world is... it's not great. It's not great in the world. Shout out to everybody who protested this weekend at the No Kings protest. The images were so moving and it was just really, really powerful. My mom went to one in Florida and said it was just really, really moving to be there. In contrast, Trump's over 5 million people in over 2,000 rallies. Wow, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty beautiful. The power of peaceful protest is real. On the flip side, you have Trump's birthday/military parade. Guess how much that costs taxpayers? Since everyone's so obsessed with money, then we better just say it. $45 million. A cool $45 million for a parade that nobody went to. Interesting to throw that parade on your birthday when this is the state of the world. Not where I would have put $45 million. I would have maybe... I don't know, bought some kids some school lunches or put it into, research, or honestly just not spent it at all because that was a completely pointless parade. And the pictures were so depressing. And also it was depressing because they were like, oh my God, we're going to have 1 million people. People are going to be turned away. And then no one came. So that's that on that. Mr. Trump. I was in Florida. I went with my mom and I went to go see my grandma. She's 96. She's my last grandparent. It was nice. I love all my family, but it's really nice when it's just me and my mom and my grandma. We call ourselves the 3 C's because my grandma's name is Cecilia, my mom is Carmen, and then I'm Christina, obviously. And I don't think that was on purpose, but we like to say it, the 3 C's. And it was just really fun to be with her and be in Florida, which always has a special place in my heart, and where it's not raining, which is fabulous. And then I went to Miami on Friday. I went on a date. Last time I was in Miami, we were at Soho House and we met this guy. We started talking and we were all really drunk. I mean, my friends were and he wasn't. And then he kept in touch with me and he kept calling me and being like, oh, I want to come to New York to see you. And I was like, we didn't have that much of a base for you to do that, but maybe if I'm in Miami. And he was like, yeah. And so I messaged him that I was coming and he was like, okay, perfect. And then he flew in to see me, but it was that was way too much pressure. He spends some time in Miami, but I don't know, it was just a lot. And so we went out on Friday night and it was nice. It was cool. He's sweet. I just feel like I have a bit of a shell up, you guys. I really do. And he kind of kept pushing, which I appreciated because do I think that he's my person? No, but I think he kind of honestly helped me had a breakthrough. He was like, I feel like you hate talking about yourself. And I was like, I do. Because I'm an influencer and I'm so sick of myself. And anytime that I'm talking about work, I'm talking about myself, or I'm analyzing my brand or whatever, and I think about myself too much. And I do think it's affected me a lot in dating, where I'm just so sick of myself that I almost take it as an attack when someone's like, so where are you from? And I'm like, I think it makes my brain short circuit. I honestly think I'm too cerebral to be an influencer. Because I think so much about this shit in detail and it just makes me get tripped up. And anyway, so that was that. And then we were talking about it the next day because Cliff and Lucas and our friend Michael came because we were DJing on Saturday. We were talking about it the next day and I hit this guy with the, anyway, what are your plans tomorrow? And we were saying that anytime you say that on a date, it's I'm never going to see you again. But this was nice. If he was in the same place, I would get a drink with him again or in a group or whatever. But I didn't really feel any sparks. But again, I judge people too quickly. So what the fuck do I know?
Can I ask whatever happened, without giving too much detail? You talked a little bit about it. Whatever happened to the guy you met out in California at that music festival? Was that Coachella?
Yeah, he's my crush. Like I adore him.
Did anything ever come of that, or was it just a
He
good
lives
weekend?
on the other side
Yeah.
of the country, and he's not in my age bracket for anything serious. But it's better that way because he's a perfect crush. And like crushes always cancel themselves. If you get too much information, your crush will end. So I actually prefer that he's on the other side of the country, and we have a flirty text exchange once in a while, and he's just out there being hot.
Would you guys hang out if you were in the same place again?
100%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 100%. I need to separate myself from my work when I go on dates because I sometimes act like so annoyed with these guys. And anyway, I'm horrible at first dates. We know this. Lucas tells me all the time. He's like, you're so awkward. You're so weird. You don't act like yourself at all. And I get that. But we were actually talking about bringing your friends on first dates, or you were talking about that. And that person, she called a couple weeks ago. She was like, I brought my friend on a first date. I way prefer almost like a group setting. I prefer to meet people in a group setting because it is fucking unnatural. It is fucking unnatural to go and have a meal with someone that you've never met before and ask all this information about yourself. Like, it's a fucking awkward situation.
And you can't really be funny. Like, it's way better to see them with their friends too, like how they interact with other people and how they interact with your friends, like right off the bat.
Totally. Like this guy on Friday night, he was like, oh, you were so funny like last time with your friends, because I was relaxed, because I didn't feel like I'm being fucking interviewed.
Right. And I always think that's funny too when you go on a few dates with someone and they don't even really see like your silly, goofy, funny side.
Right.
And then they see you with your friends and you're like, oh, you're a whole other person.
Totally.
But it's like, I can't do that on my own.
It's
with
hard
just you.
to conjure the goofiness on the first date. But that's funny because that's a main reason why I don't go on a second or third date with someone, is if I feel that they're not goofy. But to your point, I'm not that goofy on a first date.
Right. It's hard to tell.
He also said that I cried the first time that he's Canadian. He said that last time, I think we went to Miami in March. He said I started crying because I was so sad about how Trump was treating Canadians and all the strict policies. I cried when I met. I didn't even remember this. Apparently, I was like, oh my God, like you're our ally forever. Like we love Canada. And he said I was like bawling and like talking about Trump. No fucking memory. Box theory, he still wanted to go on a second date with me. Or he wanted to take me on a date. So all this to say, I need to be more relaxed. And I need to bring my friends on my dates.
It's also weird because it's less weird to bring a friend on a first date than it would be on like a third or fourth date. Because when you start dating someone, you're like, oh, it's too soon to introduce you to my friend.
Exactly.
But on a first date, you don't, like, it could just be a friendship thing. So it's normal to have somebody else there with you, and you're already meeting the friends.
And it's just more, it's just easier. When I met Emmett, I met him through, because we met on a dating app and we went on some dates. And he will never let me live it down that on our first date, I had organized to go to a party with Pig and our friend.
I was going to say, this sounds familiar. I forgot it was Emmett.
And so we had 2 or 3 drinks, and I was like, okay, the date's going well. I was like, do you want to come to a party with me and my friends? And he was like, yeah, sure. And then Pig showed up at the bar with our friend, and then we all went together. And he never lets me live that down. Emmett, in a jokey way, he's like, you called in reinforcements. And I disagree with that. First of all, I always have an out, whether it's real or fake. I have a birthday dinner, I have somewhere to go, I have a party to go to, whatever. And second of all, you know me, I don't believe in a marathon first date. It always fucks it up if you have a marathon first date. And I think it's really fun to add a friend and then see how they react, and then you can all go together, and then to our point, keep getting to know them in a more natural way. I would not, but I know what you guys are going to say. You're going to say, well, what if a guy brought his friend on a first date? It's not the same.
It's not. And if they bring you out with their friends after, I'm like, no.
I would be like, no. So sorry, that's a double standard, but it's just the truth.
Isn't it intimidating to bring? You would probably bring guys on as your friends on a first date.
Well, I only have guy friends because I'm a pick-me girl. So
that's what
at this point,
you said it, not me.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel I've actually met a lot of guys out when I'm out with Lucas and Cliff, because I think I feel so safe and comfortable around them that I'm kind of my most natural self. And also I'm so oblivious that, like, we were remembering that last year in Miami, we were all at this club that we DJ'd at we DJ'd at Gecko on Saturday night. And last year we were there and Lucas was like, I think that guy likes you. And I was like, no way he doesn't. Oh my God. And Lucas was like, yes, that guy likes you. And I ended up making out with that guy. So I personally love going out with them. They're the best. So we DJ'd Saturday night, Gecko. Listen, it was great. It was a fun crowd. Miami's like a late crowd, so it was awesome. We were competing with John Summit at Live, so fair enough if you went to that instead. We ended up going to Live after for a second. And this girl, I only bring this up because I want to make a point about partying, but I will say that, you know, once in a while, I meet so many nice people. Just this morning, I met 3 nice girls on my walk to coffee. And for the most part, people are so nice. We have a great chat. We have a great time. It's all good. Once in a while, I'll get someone quite rude. And we were in the club in 3 a.m. and this girl goes, "Do you have a TikTok or something?"
Oh my God.
And I was like, first of all, I am so against trying to have a conversation in the club. I'm hard of hearing anyway. I cannot fucking hear. And there's nothing that kills your vibe more than going, "What? Sorry? Could you say that again? Sorry?" Like, it's not the time or place. And also, like, if you like my TikToks, just say, "Oh, I love your TikToks," or whatever. If you hate me, ignore me.
Don't approach.
But don't say, "Do you have a TikTok or something?" And I'm not going to lie to you. I was a bit prickly back. I'm always so worried about, you know, giving someone a bad experience or whatever. People talk shit about me online all the time. Why would I fucking care? So I was like, "Yep." And she goes, "Oh, yeah, I think I've seen it." And I was like, "Okay, cool." She goes, "Yeah, that podcast or something too." And I was like, "Okay, so obviously you do know who I am. So what's the point? Like, what do you want from this interaction? You want to have a bad interaction? You want to take a picture? You want to, like, what is the end game here? Because we're in a club and I'm trying to listen to the DJ and you're just being quite rude and annoying, and it really bugged me." Anyway, all that to say, the club is not a place for conversation, you guys. The club is a place for putting your phone away, flirting, talking, dancing, listening to music. And I'm sorry. I think, like, again, I'm always so afraid to speak on this stuff because everyone's like, influencers are like the spawn of Satan and they deserve no respect and they're disgusting and it's okay if you spit in their face. At the end of the day, I'm a human being and I'm very into manners, and I'm not, I don't have to be nice to people who are rude to me just because I'm an influencer. And that's that on that. Sorry.
What was the end game of her? What did she want?
I just stopped.
You
She
just
totally kept going, and I was
disengaged.
like, yeah. And then I looked at her, and I could tell she was shocked that I was not giving her anything back. I think she thought I was going to be like, "Oh my God, yeah, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And I'm just not going to do that. I'm so sick of rudeness. I'm so sick of it.
Was she at your table or did she like stop you?
She was at our table and it was packed like sardines with girls. And, you know, I was, you know, it's just not, the club is traditionally a place where women bond over nothing. And so she was just ruining my vibe. And in general, it really, really irks me when people try to have a conversation. Even if you're at a table with a bunch of people and some guy's like, blah, 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 I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Let's stop. You have a better chance of going home with me if you dance and you're fun and you're flirty than trying to explain to me something, you know, when I can't hear anything.
Right.
It really bugs me.
What's Lucas doing in the club when he's trying to hit on girls then? Like, he can't have a conversation.
He can because I don't know, it's a superpower. He can talk and most of the time. But also, like, I'm not like other girls, Steve. Like, it takes a lot more than like a few, you know, like sweet nothings in my ear to hit on me.
You just said you have a better chance of taking me home if you're just a good dancer.
Like, if you're just fun, if you're just goofy, like if you make me laugh, if you're being silly and having fun, like it's not the place for a conversation about Voltaire. You know, like, just save it for our first date where I will probably be rude and, you know, not want to talk about myself. But it was a really fun weekend.
11 of my friends.
Yeah, bring 11 of my friends. But it was really, really fun weekend. It was like we all looked at each other in the Uber home and we were like, that was a really fun friend weekend. We had so many jokes and fun. I love Miami, even in the summer when it's so hot. Okay, speaking of pick-me girls and this conversation, I'm not calling her a pick-me girl. That was just my attempt at a shitty transition. Sabrina Carpenter, her album cover came out. Her album is called Man's Best Friend. And the album cover shows her in a kneeling position with who we assume is a man gripping her hair. And, you know, she's in a very submissive position. The internet went absolutely batshit. Her first single off the album is called Manchild. Now, what do you guys think about this? I've really never seen it we have a call about it.
Yeah.
Oh, let's take the call to kick it off. That's great. Grace, are you there?
Oh my gosh, thanks.
Hi, thank you so much for calling.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I literally made notes on my notes app for this.
Hell
okay.
yeah, I love that. What's your take?
So, first of all, I wanted to quote something that Sabrina directly said. Basically, I'm paraphrasing, but saying that, the songs that are popular from her albums are the most like raunchy ones. So
Totally.
clearly, the general audience, or not even just the general audience, but I guess connecting this to my bigger point about why we expect women to live and act above the patriarchy that we're so, like entrenched in.
Right.
And Sabrina can't control, what the masses or the people like. She can only really respond and capitalize off of that, which is kind of her job.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
At it.
Yeah.
So basically, I just wanted to like pick your brain about kind of the dissonance that women feel between like seeing another woman capitalize off of like imagery or stuff that maybe like in the past, there was all those comments about like this is 10 steps back for feminism and all that. So basically just your thoughts there.
Yeah, I'm so torn. I think that there's this conversation on TikTok, especially right now, saying it's set us all back and saying, oh, she's for the male gaze. She's for the male gaze. And I think that like male gaze is now just a safer way to kind of, or when we talk about male gaze, it's kind of a safe way to slut shame a woman by saying, oh, you're doing it for the male gaze. Oh, you're doing it for the male gaze. That's just like a more elevated way to slut shame someone. And her whole shtick is like, she's horny. She likes sex. She's into that stuff. And I'm with you. It's very difficult. There's layers of feminist theory that we could put on. We could use those lenses to talk about this. There is the school of thought that's like Gen Z or like the younger population is so woke that they've gone conservative. It's something called like the horseshoe theory, where it's like it almost comes back around and meets in the middle. And they're just kind of slut shaming her in a way. But I think that you raise an interesting point, which is like, why do we expect certain women in the public eye to rage against the patriarchy that we live in? Like, shouldn't she be allowed to do her job to the best of her ability? Shouldn't she be able to sell albums and sell records and sell concert tickets to the best of her ability? I don't know. Like, as a public person, does she have a responsibility to push feminism forward? I don't know. I where I'm at with it now is like, this is her thing, and she, this is her persona, and we haven't heard the rest of the album yet. And for the most part, I'm kind of for women doing whatever they want.
Me too. I think my thing with Sabrina is that, and it kind of connects to your podcast last week about like porn and kind of, I guess, women's role in that. And my thing is with Sabrina, like none of her performances feel forced. Like it feels like she's actually enjoying it. It's fun. Like it doesn't need to be that deep for her, but people kind of take it and twist it into this like subliminal, like something that it's not. And my whole thing with like, women in the male gaze is agency, right? And how can we respect women's agency in their situations without just again, the male gaze, like even that term just pisses me off, like you were saying.
I agree.
It gives the control to the man of what these women are doing. Like, again, it is in response to the patriarchy, but
it's really complicated. Listen, it's really complicated, and it's okay to not have the answer. And I'm with you. Like, I'm all for women's agency. At the end of the day, she is, it's a really complicated cover. It's a really complicated topic. I saw Alex Earl made a video that was like, why do we have to make everything so complicated? Like, and then she deleted it because everyone was like,
oh, I didn't see that. But like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know, you
Will
guys.
Will it ever end for us, Tinx? Like, for real. We can't do anything right.
No, I know. But I'm not criticizing the naysayers. Like, I hear them. I hear that it's a complicated topic and that she is in a submissive position. Although I will say that in like BDSM, like technically the person who's in the submissive role has the power. So I don't know. There's layers to it. We don't know what she meant by it. And I think that part of art is is these discussions. And in a way I really applaud her because she made this cover, and look, we're all discussing it. And it's sparking conversation about feminism and the patriarchy. And so in that sense, I think that is what art is supposed to do. At least we're having a conversation about it. Like, at least all these people are having these talks about it. So I love Sabrina. I'm a fan. I like her music. I think that where I come down on it is it's a cool album cover, and I'm excited to see how her music brings more color to what she was trying to say with it. But yeah, it's really complicated.
Oh my gosh, I love you so much, Tinx. I feel like I just brain dumped on you, but
no, are you kidding me? Did you hear me? I brain dumped as well. And can I just say thank you so much for calling to discuss this? Like, this is what I want this show to be, is to have discussions like this. So I really appreciate you calling and connecting it to the porn episode. This is so, like, we need to be more interesting vibes. So thank you for calling. I really appreciate it.
I love you so much.
I love you. Thanks for calling, babe.
Bye.
Bye.
What do you say to people that are talking about it and like it's irresponsible for her to put an album out like this with like the Diddy Cassie stuff or like the stuff that's going on in the news? Like, where do you come down on that stuff that people say like she has a social responsibility?
I think that we always put the onus on women. Like, why is the onus on women to change? Like, she's horny. She's a horny person. She likes sex. This is what her music is about. I think that the responsibility always falls on women. Oh, you have a responsibility not to do this. Oh, you have a responsibility not to do that. Why should she temper her art because we have lived in a patriarchy of violence for so long? But again, like, I understand that that's complicated because we do have this pervasive violence against women, and women are going through so much right now. I understand that it's complicated, and I really don't mean to be wishy-washy, you guys. Like, I that I love having a strong opinion loosely held. The only reason that I'm sounding a bit wishy-washy is because I do keep going back and forth, and I do think it's a complicated issue. Two books on this note. First of all, Emily Ratajkowski's My Body it's a book of essays, and she's obviously someone who is known for her body, and a lot of them are kind of discussions on her complicated relationship with being a sex symbol. And so I would highly recommend reading it. And then a lot of you guys recommended Girl on Girl by Sophie Gilbert. It's a book that just came out. It's called the subtitle is How Pop Culture Turned a Generation of Women Against Themselves. Guys, I'm only through chapter 1, and it is absolutely blowing me away. And that's also why I'm kind of tripping over my words this morning, because she's talking about all this history in the 90s. She's talking a lot about music and how it affects feminism. I would highly, highly recommend this book. I'm going to be talking about it nonstop over the next couple weeks. So highly recommend you guys picking it up because it's just exactly about this, and it's so fucking interesting. I mean, look, it's not a crime to like sex as a woman, as I always say to you guys. It's just sad that under the context of this world that we live in, it can be complicated, right? It can be complicated. So that's kind of where I come down on it right now. I love Sabrina. If you guys have any good articles about it, then send them. I think I posted one. I linked it in my articles highlight on IG, but it was Susie. Fuck, I forgot her last name. I'm sorry. The author's name is Susie, but it was in the Free Press. So go check that out. All right, you guys, let's go to a quick break. I'm going to be taking calls right after this. So if you're on the line, stay on the line.